Hello, it's Monday. Here I am. I'm Coach Rebecca Smith, and I am doing our weekly Facebook Live session where I answer questions from members of the Perform Happy community and anybody who shows up live. And then if we have time, I get to ones that people have sent me through email throughout the week. So today, we'll dive in just a second, but I'll give you a little background on myself. I am Rebecca Smith. I have a master's in sports psychology, and I've been working with young athletes for over 15 years, helping to improve performance. And I currently work as a high performance coach, specializing in work with individual athletes from age 8 to 18. And we work on things like building confidence, overcoming fear, overcoming mental blocks, and finding flow. Flow is my most recent passion. I mean, I've always been into it, but I'm doing a training right now in my Perform Happy community all on finding flow. And that's that magical experience where everything falls into place. So I'll give you a little taste of that today while answering a question I received this week. So here we are. The question of the day is it okay to set goals? So of course, on first reaction, I'm like, well, yeah, of course. But here's the rest of it. For example, this is a gymnast parent, I believe, saying, for example, going from a 36.5 all-around score to a 37.5. Is it okay to set a goal for a better score? For example, after reflecting on what could have been better about a floor routine, working on polishing, trying to go from a 36.5 to a 37.5. Okay, so this dad he's in the right place for sure. And I've got so many things to answer that I replied and was like, I got to do this on a live training because there's just too much to say in an email. So my easy, simple answer is, yeah, it's great to set goals. I love goals. I am like the biggest fan of goals you've ever met because goals are what have created my whole life. My success, like everything is based on goals. Because I am really motivated by goals. Not everybody is like me. That's the thing. And you guys will know that if you hang out with me long enough. I say like every 5 seconds, everybody's different. Everybody learns different. Everybody has a different brain. But I can give you some general ideas about goals. I'm going to do almost like a mini training right here so that you guys can get an idea of what's right for you. So going back to, can you set goals about scores? Now, when I work with swimmers, I work with a lot of swimmers, and it's always the stress of the times. Like, I just want to drop time. I'm not dropping time. How do I drop time? But the focus on the time is usually what makes kids fall apart at swim meets. Is that they're swimming about, thinking about the time. Meanwhile, the time gets their body so tense and stressed that they cannot swim their best. I think it's an example easiest used on swimmers because they think about a time, they get stressed, they don't get the time. If they stop, this is what I do with almost every swimmer I work with right out of the gates. I go, stop thinking about times. No time. There is no time when you're racing. So for you gymnast dad, there is no score when she's competing. There are no scores, because if you are in the score, you cannot be in flow. If you're in the time, you cannot be in flow. Flow is when you're doing your very best performance because you are perfectly present. You're in your body, you have the best focus, you're trusting your training, and you're letting your muscles do what they're trained to do instead of tensing them up and hoping that you get that score. And then you don't, because your muscles are not doing what they're trained to do, because you don't usually train like a ball of nerves, and you don't usually practice like a ball of nerves. So the scores and the times are beneficial in the gym, in the pool, when you're training, because that's what motivates effort. So some of the downsides, I'll give you the process of goals, downsides, upsides, benefits, and a little sneak preview of my training in the Perform Happy community on goal setting that I'm doing this week, actually. So the process of setting goals it's an art and not a science. I love that there's scientific articles on how goal setting is not a science, that it's different for everybody. And it's like a moving target, but it has major benefits if used properly. And the process is essentially, number one, you want something. Number two, you come up with an idea of how you want to get there. Number three, you make choices that are in line with that goal and ignore things that are not in line with it. Number four, you either reach the goal or you rethink and learn. And learn is kind of like number five. No matter whether you get the goal or you don't, you learn. So make sure it's things that you really want, that you're aiming for. Because a lot of the time, the mistake people make with goals is that they're aiming for something that they maybe don't even actually want. You know, maybe the coach wants it. Maybe the teammates all want it, so they say they want it. Maybe the parent wants it. So make sure that the foundation, the thing that you want, you actually want for good reason. And this is another reason why in my flow training, I have a whole session we did last week on intention. It's making sure that you're aiming for something you actually want. Because if you're not, then that will explain why goal setting is not working. Okay, the second one, develop ideas of how to get there. Now, this is, you're gonna always have an idea, but then what about if that idea doesn't work? You know, I wanna qualify for X. Well, shoot, I didn't qualify at that meet. Do I give up? No, I try at the next meet. Oh, I didn't get to state this year, or I didn't get to regionals, or I didn't get to nationals. Okay, so if that's my goal, I'm gonna try again next year, or I'm gonna come up with a different way to you know, like if I was injured, I could petition in. If there's, so there, you kind of like set out an idea of how you want to get there, and then know that if something changes or life gets lifey, you're going to make a new choice or get creative. Making choices in line with that goal. Now this kind of lines up with the concept of commitment to me. So when I got married, basically I set a goal to stay married to this person for the rest of my life. You know, it's like goal, commitment, they're kind of similar. And what I do is on a daily basis, I make decisions in line with that goal, which is to stay married to this man for the rest of my life. So if I have a choice to, you know, be a jerk or be nice, then based on my goal, I'm going to hopefully avoid the jerk decision and choose the be nice decision. You know, and this works with sport too. If your goal is that you want to make a select soccer team, but you don't feel like going to practice, you make the choice to go anyway because it's in line with what you want, and you ignore the thing that's away from what you want. And then here is the absolute key. If you get nothing else from this, like listen to this. The reason we set goals is the same reason that we do sport, the same reason that we get out of bed and do our lives. It's because we want to become better humans. We want to become better humans that are better able to help people around us and better able to guide our own children or our friends' children or whoever it is. We want to become better. We want to be better at sport, better at business, better at life, better at school, better at relationships. I mean, that's kind of why we're here. It's to, and you know, if you don't agree with this, it's totally fine. This is all coming from me, obviously. But you set goals to improve. And it's not necessarily about getting the goal. Don't get me wrong here. I'll go into this in a second. It's not about getting the goal necessarily that will make you a better human. It's the process, you know, and if you get the goal, yes, I mean, really that's what we want. And I set goals that I would like to achieve, and I do tend to achieve them. But I also grow as a human through the process of goal setting. And if I fall short, that's a major opportunity to go, okay, what can I learn from this? So kind of going back to the scores versus not scores, like how do you set goals? So yeah, you absolutely can set a goal of increasing your all-around score. Of course, we have to know it's not within our control because a judge might be having a bad day and you could have the best performance of your life and not get that score. But that's when the growth comes up. Like, okay, so I didn't get my 37.5. Am I going to say that this whole season was a waste? I know a lot of perfectionist kids that would feel that way and go, yeah, it was a waste. That was, if I don't get it, if I don't qualify, if I don't win, if I don't, fill in the blank, then it was a waste. And what we have to do as parents and high performance coaches is help kids to figure out that if you didn't get the goal, it's equally valuable because you put in the effort, you worked hard, you improved in certain ways. And if you didn't get the goal, let's figure out why and how we can get it next time. So here are a couple benefits of setting goals. I always think back to, there's a girl who I went to school with who studied in this same field, who's like, goals don't work. I'm like, okay, everybody has a different opinion because everybody's brains work differently. But here are the scientifically proven benefits of goals. It focuses your effort. So you know exactly what you're supposed to be paying attention to if you have a goal. It motivates you through, it gets your energy, like moving in a direction toward action towards something. It increases your effort. Even if you don't feel like it, if you really want to qualify, you show up, you work a little harder. It helps you strategize. It helps you get creative. Okay, well, if I can't do it that way, I got to do it this way. It helps you to know if you're on track or not, because it's also scientifically proven that having short-term goals that build towards your long-term goal makes your long-term goals much more likely to be achieved. So you'll know, okay, well, if I'm not getting this goal, then I might need to rearrange this one, or I might need to adjust something for this round, for this circle, for this, for whatever stage you're on, it'll let you know if you need to adjust. And it's kind of a measuring stick. So if you set this huge goal and then you're struggling with step one, you might want to go, okay, let's rethink, and that's okay. Now here are the downsides. It can be disappointing, stressful. It can take you out of the moment because it lands you in the outcome. If you are too obsessed with your goal, then you're not in the moment enough to do what's necessary to reach it. And then it also can trigger comparison thinking and fear of failure. So those are some things that you want to be really careful of, and that I make sure to talk about a lot in my goal setting trainings. So here are the types of goals. We've got outcome goals. We've got performance goals, and we've got process goals. All of these are important, and they all serve a purpose. So your outcome goal is beating a specific person, or winning, or qualifying, or getting a score. It's like getting a medal or a trophy. It's something that's not totally within your control. That is what probably most people focus on for goal setting. And it's very motivating. If you want a trophy, you're going to work your butt off to get it. But those are the goals that most likely will get you to the disappointment and the comparison and the fear of failure. So these other two types of goals, your process and your performance goals, are critical. So your process, that's what exactly are you doing in this moment to make that skill happen that will help you to stay on the beam, that will get you the score that you want. So instead of just going, I want to get a 9 on beam, you go, I'm going to push through my shoulders in my handstand, or I'm going to square my hips in my lunge. Those are process goals, and those are what you do when you are finding flow. You're doing one skill at a time. You're doing exactly what you had hoped to do in that skill. And every time you do what you set out to do, you're reaching a goal, whether you realize it or not. And then there is the performance goal. So that's all about personal best. So even if you get up into a beam routine and you know in your heart and in your core that was the best beam routine you've ever done, and your score is 0.2 lower than last meet, you can go, all right, the judge was a little harder, but I know that was a personal best for me. So you might not have gotten the outcome goal of the best score, but you got the performance goal of knowing you did your very best. And then you also did a whole lot of process goals throughout to get yourself to that point where it felt like a good performance. So I've got a freebie that you guys can download at CompletePerformanceCoaching.com/goals. And that's my 90-day goal setting action planner. And this is what I use with the Perform Happy community members. It's what I use on myself every 90 days. I recently used it on my husband, who's training for a marathon, and you're welcome to grab a copy and go through it. It helps you kind of lock in what your intention is, and it gets you setting not just one type of goal. It walks you through actually a lot of my process. And if you want more, this week our topic in the Perform Happy community is goal setting, following up on last week's intention setting. And we would love to have you. So if you're interested in finding out more about the Perform Happy community, go to performhappy.com. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching sessions with me, you can go to CompletePerformanceCoaching.com, and feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions, and I will see you next week.